So today I'm going to do my BookTube-A-Thon wrap up, and I just want to say that I had so much fun doing BookTube-A-Thon and I'm so happy that I did it. And yeah, I just want to say thank you to Ariel for putting together this whole thing. And so yeah, I just figured I would show you all of the books that I finished. So the first book that I read is Summer Days and Summer Nights, edited by Stephanie Perkins, and I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars overall, but I'll just tell you what I thought of each story. This is just a bind up of a bunch of short stories from different authors. The first story was Head, Scales, Tongue, Tail by Leigh Bardugo. This one was a little bit weird. It didn't really go where I thought it was going to go, but it was still a fun read. The second one was The End of Love by Nina LaCour. I gave this one, I'd probably give it a 4.5 out of 5. It was one of my favorite ones, and I just thought it was super cute. The next one was Last Stand at the Synagogue by Libba Bray, which was also super weird and didn't go to where I thought it was going to go, but I really enjoyed this one. I would probably give it a 4 out of 5 stars. The next is Sick Pleasure by Francesca Leah Block. This was probably my least favorite out of them. I didn't really enjoy the writing style that much. I'm not sure why. I just felt like none of it was actually happening like the whole time. It was just felt a little bit off to me. The next one is In 90 Minutes Turn North by Stephanie Perkins, and this was my favorite out of all of them. This was a continuation from her story In My True Love Gave to Me, and I just absolutely loved the first one and I really loved the continuation of it. I would give this one 5 out of 5 stars. The next one was Souvenirs by Tim Friedel. I'd give this one probably a 3.5 out of 5 stars. It was also pretty cute. The next one is Inertia by Veronica Roth. I would give this probably a 5 out of 5 stars as well. I liked it a lot. The next one is Love is the Last Resort by John Scavron. I would give this one a 3.5 probably. It was pretty cute as well. The next is Good Luck and Farewell by Brandy Colbert. I would give this one probably a 3.5 or 4 out of 5 stars. That one was pretty good as well. The next is Brand New Attraction by Cassandra Clare. I would give this one probably a 3.5 out of 5 stars. The next one is A Thousand Ways This Could All Go Wrong by Jennifer E. Smith, and I would give this one 5 out of 5 stars. I really loved this one. The next is The Map of Tiny Perfect Things by Liv Grossman. This one was a little bit different than what I was expecting as well, but I also really liked it. I would probably give it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Overall, I really liked most of the stories. There were just a few that I was like not loving, but the book in general I really loved because it had a very diverse cast of characters, very diverse racially. There was a lot of LGBTQ plus characters, and they weren't all like side characters. There were a lot of the main characters that had autism, and I just thought that this book was really good in general. The next book I read is The Statistical Probability of Love at First Sight by Jennifer E. Smith, and I really loved this as well. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. This read was so fast, and I really think that this is the reason that I was able to finish all 7 books, because I read this in a matter of hours. I would really recommend this if you like cutesy contemporaries. The boy in this was so perfect. I can't even... Oh my god, okay, so the boy in this was British, and he was tall, and he had dimples and green eyes and messy curly brown hair, and his name was Oliver. Could you have a cuter name than Oliver? And he was also really intelligent and also funny, and I loved him. And this book is about a girl that has to go to London to go to her father's wedding, and she is very upset about having to go because she doesn't agree with her father getting remarried. While she's at the airport, she meets this boy that is also flying into London, and they end up sitting next to each other and just talking the whole flight, and they have this huge connection, and yeah, it's really good. This book also made me cry, which I was not expecting. I also think I might have been crying because I was also listening to the soundtracks of If I Stay and The Fault in Our Stars while I was reading this, so that could have had something to do with it. I really liked everything about it. The relationship was super cute, and I loved the whole family aspect of it as well. The next book that I read is The Peculiar Haunting of Thelma B by Erin Petty, and I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. I thought it was super cute. It reminds me a lot of like R.L. Stein stuff, like Goosebumps or The Haunting Hour, and I love that type of stuff, so this was really fun. It is a middle grade horror book, I guess is how you would classify it. This is about a girl named Thelma, and she is a very smart little girl. One day all this weird stuff starts happening to her, and she doesn't understand why, and it is because she's being haunted, and she has to go on this huge journey to find out why she's being haunted, and she enlists her best friend Alexander and then some other characters that help her find out what is happening, and it's just really fun. The next book that I read is Memoirs of a Teenage Amnesiac by Gabrielle Zevin. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars as well. I really liked it. This is something I've been wanting to read for a while. Like since I first started BookTube, I had heard about it through Ariel Bissett, and I just never picked it up again because I never heard anyone else talk about it, and I kind of forgot about it, but I'm so glad that I picked it up. It was super good. This is about a girl named Naomi, and one day she falls down the stairs at her school and hits her head, and she becomes an amnesiac, and she can't remember anything from the last past 4 years. She doesn't remember her boyfriend or her best friend or that her parents are divorced, and she kind of has to relearn everything. There's a boy that finds her when she hits her head and rides to the hospital with her, and she thinks that he's her boyfriend at first, and then when she finds out that he's not, she's really intrigued by him, and I would definitely highly suggest it. The next book that I read is Me and Earl and the Dying Girl by Jessie Andrews. I also gave this 4 out of 5 stars. I really loved it. I had seen this movie before I read the book, so that kind of gives you like a different experience reading it, but I really liked it. This is about a boy named Greg, and he has his best friend Earl, and they make movies together. And then one day this girl named Rachel that he used to be friends with when he was younger gets diagnosed with leukemia, and his mom ends up making him talk to her and become friends with her. And Greg is a very weird character. He doesn't really care about anyone but himself, but it's still really good to read from his point of view. This book is hilarious. I don't think I've ever laughed so hard while reading a book. Usually when I find something funny, I like laugh in my head, but this book had me laughing out loud, and I had so much fun reading it. And if you want something funny, then you should definitely pick this up because it is hilarious. I also watched the movie this week along with this, and I really liked it. I loved the movie beforehand, and it was really cool watching it after reading this and having it so fresh in my mind. The next book that I read is Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie, and this book was really good as well. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, and this book has a lot of cool like illustrations and like interactive kind of stuff in it, and I just thought it was really fun, and I'm sure that you know what Peter Pan is about, but if you like Peter Pan, then you should definitely read the book. It's super fun. And then the last book that I read is November 9 by Colleen Hoover, and I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars, but it's definitely more of a 4.5. I loved it so much. I love Colleen Hoover. She is one of my all-time favorite authors. This is my favorite book by her. I don't like it as much as Ugly Love or Maybe Someday, but I think I did like it a bit more than Confess, and she just writes the most beautiful and heartbreaking stories. This is about a girl named Fallon, and she is an actress, and she's in like an up-and-coming TV show, and then one day she's involved in a fire, and she has burns across half of her face and then down half of her body, and so she is fired from her job because she's not beautiful anymore, and it puts a huge strain on her and her father's relationship, and he, you know, tells her that she can't act anymore and all this stuff, but she still has big dreams. And one day this boy named Ben comes into the picture, and he hears her father talking down to her, so he kind of stands up for her, and they end up, you know, hanging out and getting to know each other. And on this day that they met, she is set to move to New York that night, so they end up just agreeing to meet every day on November 9th, and you just see November 9th in this book. You see November 9th through each year and how their lives are changing and how their relationship is changing, and it is just so wonderful and heartbreaking, and I loved it. So that is all of the books that I read for the BookTube-A-Thon. Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you read for the BookTube-A-Thon, and yeah, I just had so much fun participating in this read-along, and I hope you like this video, and I will see you in the next video. Bye! And this one I would probably give like a 3 out of 5 stars.
You just need a little bit of a haircut.
Peyton's voxing me. That I read is the Statistical. God, I can never say it. The next book that I read is the
Statistic probability of love.
I can't say it. The next book that I read is the oh my god, is the